Ellerslie School is a really great place to be.
Ellerslie is a K-9 school. We've got about 2 classes at each of 7, 8, 9, and then multiple classes, including 6 classes of kindergarten, and then 4 grade 1s and so on up through grade 6.
We have children from different socioeconomic backgrounds, children that are coming from diverse cultures and different belief systems as well, with different traditions, I'm sure different family structures.
Now remember, you have to introduce yourself.
We have a very large ELL population. We probably have 40% of our students who are coded as ELL, that's English language learners.
Hi, my name is Prabjot. I like Edmonton because it welcomes people from India and from all over the world.
It's very important to me that we create a school that is happy, that where students want to attend and where they're recognized and where we say hi by name.
That's my team, right? Okay. Thanks, Jonah.
It has to be a warm place. It has to be a place where kids are going to feel free, they're going to feel safe, and they're going to want to be able to express themselves so that they can just be who they are, and we get the best from them in that respect.
It's a safe and caring environment, it's a fun environment, it's a place where students have passion about learning and passion about being together.
At Ellerslie campus, we have Tiger Pride. We have Tiger Pride Days. The first Friday of every month is Tiger Pride Day. Students wear their Tiger team shirts. And so Tiger team shirts, we've broken the student population into 8 Tiger teams. And so first Friday of every month, they get to wear their Tiger shirts, they get points. And specific to this Friday coming up, we have, it's May 4th. So we're calling it May the 4th be with you. So it's Star Wars theme day. So students are going to come dressed in Star Wars theme, Tiger Day theme, maybe a little bit of both.
So we do lots of things that create pride in being here, that make students want to be part of the Ellerslie team.
We now have such a variety of needs in our schools that I think we are just used to the fact that it's par for the course. You're going to have a hugely divergent group of students in your classroom.
Every single student is a student first, and then they have particular needs. It's our job as educators to determine how we can best meet the needs of that student in an inclusive setting. And I'm totally convinced that students do better in an inclusive setting than they would if they were segregated or separated into separate classes.
We have a bunch of different kids with different needs, and that they're all welcome, that we're not going to be pushing kids out because they can't learn or they learn in a different way, that we're happy to have everyone in our rooms, right? And we are there to support all learners in their learning.
Inclusion is about embracing each and every student as a human being and ensuring that they're respected for who they are and doing everything we can to address their needs specifically or individually.
And so what we do is we focus on the student part first, and then following that, what we need to do in order to make the student as successful as they can possibly be based on their learning needs and their special talents or their special requirements.
Everything you do is differentiated to meet the needs of each and every student, by the skill.
By the student, by the skill. Those 6 words encapsulate for me specifically what it is that we do within a professional learning community.
The base philosophy here is that every student is a special needs student. And in that case, we need to set up something so that every student has access to what they need to learn what's set out in the program of studies. And then we take it one step further at this school by determining what's set out with essential learning outcomes.
We break the curriculum up into essential learning outcomes, which go down to student-friendly language as ICANS. And so within each of our core subjects and even into our non-core subjects, we have I can statements. And so students, that's what students should be learning in each unit. I can, use volume formula. I can know the moon phases. And so it's by the student, by the skill, by the I can statement. So we know if a student is struggling with a certain concept, we can do just intervention on that concept, that skill, instead of going back and what don't you know in sky science, where let's do the whole unit. No, let's just focus on this one certain skill to get you back up to speed with everyone else.
And so now we've got to struggle with that question of how are we going to ensure that the student learns it. What we're trying to do now is to say what extra time and extra support is going to get that student up to the benchmark. So that's a question that we ask ourselves within our teams, and we ask ourselves as a whole school all the time. What more do we need to do to be able to increase the amount of time, the amount of support, so that students can get that essential learner outcome? The traditional school is defined by a hallway with 12, 15, 20, 40 individual classrooms. And traditionally what we've done in education is we said to a teacher, oftentimes a first-year teacher, here's your classroom and here are your students, and by the way, you've got 4 or 5 students that have special needs within this classroom, and we'll visit again in June and find out how those students are doing. So off you go, teach.
Excellent. For those folk, can you read or draw for now?
I don't think there's ever any advantage being an island, and I think just the history of teaching, and I know my first year when you're given the curriculum and said go teach, I think you get your best work through collaboration.
We're a professional learning community, which is fairly simple. We're a group of professionals that work together, they collaborate, and it's focused on student learning.
In a professional learning community, and when we focus on collaboration, we say no, all students belong to all teachers. So now it's up to administration to create a schedule which requires teachers to work in collaborative teams.
When we first started, it was difficult for people to really put this into their timetable, into their schedule. When would we collaborate? When would we put that in our classrooms? When would we teach like that?
In terms of the organization of a collaborative culture, one of the things that I'm responsible for is timetabling. And my job is to set up a timetable structure that everybody can understand and work within as best I can. And in doing so, it's important that I take into consideration what staff feel is most important. Well, one of the ones was staggered recesses. Another is having our lunch hour end at the same time, right from grade 1 through to grade 9. Less issues with transition that way. Setting it up so that we have extra time and support for students during their phys ed classes. We have 4 grade 1 classes. They all go to phys ed at the same time. We have one phys ed specialist, and then we have another teacher that works with that class. Meanwhile, our other 2 teachers, and in some cases only one of the teachers, are pulling students out and giving them extra time and support in areas that they need it. At the very end of the day, we have time set up for our junior high students, and they're involved in tutorial, and that happens every day from 2:25 to 3 o'clock. So that's another scheduling component.
By making scheduling changes and sort of having an open idea of collaboration and establishing a norm that everyone will collaborate for 1 hour a week, I think it's pushed the collaboration farther. So I think that now that we have a framework that it's more academic collaboration, I think it pushes the collaboration farther.
Now it's a culture. Teachers are embracing it, support staff are embracing it, the school as a whole is embracing it, and our students are embracing that culture. Our teachers get together on a weekly basis for a minimum of 1 hour per week. They collaborate, and it's focused on student learning.
You've got this whole team to work with. We talk about the collective expertise of the building, and we talk about reciprocal accountability. So the fact that it's not my job to meet the needs of the students, it's all of our job. So if I've got a student with special needs that I'm not familiar with, I've got the whole staff to go to, and it's actually the responsibility of the whole staff to help me meet the needs of that child.
The collaborative teams get together a required 1 hour per week minimum, and that just doesn't cut it anymore. Teachers are meeting all the time collaboratively because we've created that structure and we allow them the time.
Our principal has said that you are required to collaborate at least 1 hour a week with your grade level team, but there are divisional team meetings that happen and K-9 meetings that happen for subject specific as well.
The collaborative team structure is that every single teacher is involved in a collaborative team that is horizontal. So my grade 3 teachers are involved in the collaborative team with 3 teachers, and they get together on a regular basis. In this school, they've chosen to meet virtually every morning from about 7:15 till 8 o'clock so that they have that time to be able to talk about their day, how they're going to work with students.
I think collaboration for us, never ends at 8 o'clock when we leave our classroom to go on and teach our day. Jason and I, because we teach next door, often talk in the hallway at recess or at a break. We're talking at lunchtime, we're planning, we email. So it's constant collaboration.
We are talking all the time about where we are at in our curriculum, about where we're going to be heading to next and maybe where we should be going next, and we're constantly reevaluating the time that we need, because some students need extra time and extra support. And so that's where a lot of our collaboration comes in, is talking about how we can give that to our students on a daily basis.
With the grade 6 team, we have horizontal planning on a daily basis. We meet, whether it be in the morning or after school, to decide the plan of attack or how things have operated for the day, to determine where we need to focus for intervention and where we need to move forward with the different skills that we're giving to the students to learn.
We're always in communication with each other. We're always sharing ideas, whether it's in the hallway, in the staff room, out on the playground, wherever we can meet. As professionals, we often converse about, oh yeah, we're doing this, or we need to do that.
It also gives us a good chance to make sure that we're doing the exact same thing at the exact same time, and all the grade 6 students are getting the same piece each and every day. Some of the students in both classrooms, they're a little low on a certain skill or a certain I can, and so we'll put some students in one classroom for a refresh and intervention, and we'll put other students into the other class for an extension and sort of the nice to know information surfaced around that skill.
It's not me teaching my 30 kids in my classroom all the subjects. I might be able to move some out of my extra support group into... This morning what we did is we regrouped and we said, okay, Angie, here's the activity that you're going to do. Let's regroup our student. You're going to take this group of students. You're going to take the group that needs that extra support, the more intervention. Melissa, you're going to take the students who are almost there that we want to bump up, and I took the group who, the stretch group. Let's challenge them. That is a pattern. Who can give me an example?
In my room, we call it the switcheroo. 1-2 switcheroo. Their names are read out or their names are on the board, and they're never quite sure if they're going to get to stay downstairs or go upstairs to the other 2 teachers. So we look at the skill that we're working on. The groups are always changing, they're always fluid.
Yeah, I don't always stay in the same room. The teacher, she calls the names out and we line up at the door to go to the classrooms.
I think the students get to understand that it doesn't matter which teacher is in the classroom, that they're getting the same message. They're learning the same skills. They don't have to decide between which classroom they would prefer to be in, because they know that the information is the same.
So the kids change and the teachers change, and we really feel like that way nobody ever feels like they're in the low group or I'm in the high group.
It's kind of fun because you have 3 different teachers.
The other collaborative structures are that we have vertical teams.
We're both involved in planning meetings where we have all of the language arts teachers get together. And as a whole vertical team, K-9, we meet and talk about programming issues, we talk about student needs. One of the main goals of those meetings is to set expectations for what we need to do as a school and to address problems in our planning.
With the vertical planning process, so that takes us grades 4, 5, and 6 teachers, we get together and we plan out language arts writing assessments for and of. We plan out social studies lessons, math lessons, and within that planning it enables us to make sure that we're all on the same page through grade 4, 5, and 6.
With the vertical team, what you're doing is you're looking at your year plan and you're lining things up so that you are working on poetry at the same time, you're working on persuasive writing, etc. at the same time, so that when we do get together in our meetings, we can say, well, those students really struggled with this concept, how can we help them? What are you doing in grade 5 or what are you doing in grade 4 so we can support the work in grade 6? So it gives that opportunity to have a larger group collaborating in order to help the students achieve the skills.
We do collaborate with the DIB2 teachers. A lot of times through our vertical meetings, we'll have collaboration in there. And of course, year end, when we're transitioning the 6 into the 7, there's always the conversation at the table about talking about our students, how well they're doing, who might be struggling, those kinds of things. So those kind of conversations happen.
What's really valuable for me is that I get to see where these students are going, where they need to go. And I think Sherry's then also looking at where these students have come from, right? So we're constantly seeing the relationship between 7 and 8 and from 7 to 9 to see where our students need to get, what skills they need to have down for them to get to grade 9.
All vertical collaboration comes back to the formative and summative assessment and the needs of the students. And then from there we decide how to best address those needs and then move forward as a vertical team.
I know as a teacher I'm doing the right thing, and I know I'm doing a right thing for the students as well, knowing that I have the support from my grade team and from my vertical team, knowing that I'm aligned with the grade and the grades below me and the grades above me, knowing that I'm going to help my students so that they can succeed in the next grade.
And so we get excited about it because you're never in isolation. And I think that we are all experts in something, and so we all bring something different to the table in whatever team that we meet with.
I think the collaboration after a time becomes infectious. And I just think after a while it just sort of spreads out.
I also think that fosters a real sense of community within a school as well. And I think the kids know that because I think we're responsible for all kids. And so by meeting with all teachers, we have a sense of what's going on in every classroom, and we get to know children as well.
These are sounds, right?
Yeah.
When teachers work together collaboratively and they commonly create assessment, they commonly pace their curriculum, they use common strategies and good practice, it normalizes the environment to high standards.
I think one thing that I really respect about the culture of the school is that the EAs are seen as part of the team. And they're seen as being a really important part of the team. We have EAs with expertise in such a wide variety of areas. We have an EA who's a master storyteller. We have EAs who speak a variety of languages.
A master in math.
Yes, we have an EA who has our master's degree in math from another country. So we use those EAs as much as possible.
It's an amazing opportunity to tap into the resources of the people around you. And that's a professional learning community. It's not a product, it's a process, it's a way of life, it's a philosophy, it's a way of living. It benefits not just the students, but the teachers.
It helps you to become a better teacher, and when you become a better teacher, it helps the students become better learners.
And having people continually work through the collaborative process, it starts to show people that you really can get a lot more done with 5 minds than just 1. And then the more you work collaboratively, the better it is for the kids.
What sound does C and H make? It's not about you anymore. It's not about you. It's about what happens in your classroom is what happens to all the kids. It's your kids, it's everybody's children. It becomes a collective responsibility. Yeah.
When you create a collaborative culture and when you work on professional learning communities, you create a culture of job-embedded professional development. And to me, that is absolutely the core of what makes the work here successful.
We've got a great vision, and just like a great hockey team, we've got a sort of a goal in mind. We're working towards a really collaborative working staff.
I always think of my classroom in the school like a family. So I always talk to my kids when new kids come in that like we're just extending the family. And I feel that way about our school too.
The results are there. Students get better. Our achievement results go up year after year after year. In other words, the longer a student stays at Elderslie, the better they do.
To learn more about what Edmonton Public Schools is doing to support inclusion, visit us online at epsb.ca/inclusive learning.